At the dawn of human memory, long before written history, ancient cultures across the world spoke of a catastrophic war in the heavens. Not a metaphorical struggle, but a literal conflict between powerful beings, called gods, titans, watchers, or elders, who shaped the earth, ruled over humanity, and then vanished. These stories appear independently in Greek myth, Sumerian tablets, Egyptian cosmology, Hindu epics, and biblical texts. Different names, different symbols, but the same core narrative. A divine civilization rose, ruled, fell, and left behind a broken world struggling to remember its past. According to one interpretation, the Titans were not merely giants of myth, but the original rulers of Earth, an advanced civilization that built a global headquarters described later as Atlantis. This was not simply a city, but a planetary command center, technologically and spiritually advanced, capable of manipulating energy, space, and even consciousness itself. Ancient descriptions of glowing crystals, flying vehicles, and gates between realms may not be fantasy, but humanity's fragmented memory of technologies that no longer exist. In this framework, Zeus, or the figure later demonized as Satan in theological reinterpretations, did not lose the Great War outright. He won the battle, but lost the world. The Titans, foreseeing defeat, enacted a scorched earth strategy. Atlantis was sunk beneath the sea, its power grid destroyed, its teleportation network dismantled. The ancient stargates mentioned in myth, symbolized as ladders to heaven, divine portals, or gates of the gods, were neutralized. What remained of the ruling elite was forced into exile, cut off from instantaneous travel, unable to rule openly. From that moment onward, access to Earth became limited. Travel was no longer godlike and immediate, but mechanical and dangerous. What later civilizations would describe as fiery chariots, wheels within wheels, or flying shields may have been the remnants of this forced adaptation, vehicles we would now label UFOs. Not invaders, but refugees. Not aliens, but exiles from a lost dominion, struggling to return to a planet they once controlled. What we commonly call creation may not have been the beginning at all. It may have been a restoration project. Ancient texts often describe a world that was formless and void, submerged in water, needing order to be reestablished. Rather than creating Earth from nothing, the gods may have been repairing a planet deliberately crippled by war. Humanity itself may not be a fresh invention, but a redesigned species, altered, constrained, and memory wiped to prevent rebellion, yet still carrying echoes of its former purpose. In this reinterpretation, the role of God is not as an omnipotent originator, but as a restorer, attempting to reclaim a damaged realm. In this view, humanity is not the first intelligent species on Earth, but the last, the sixth attempt, a controlled civilization designed to grow, forget, and obey until the time was right for the old rulers to return. Atlantis, then, was not erased by nature alone. It was erased strategically, and its destruction was not the end of its story, because every empire plans for resurrection. Across religious texts, one symbol appears again and again, a beast rising from the sea. In the book of Revelation, this image is not random. The sea has always symbolized chaos, memory, and the submerged past. Atlantis fell into the sea, and from the sea, its legacy rises again. The first beast represents the original power, the ancient authority that once ruled openly. The second beast, rising from the land, is different. It does not rule directly. It delegates. It administers. It builds systems instead of temples. This second beast can be interpreted as a global structure rather than a single ruler, a world order, a network of governance, economics, surveillance, and belief systems designed not to announce divine return, but to prepare the environment for it. In this sense, the New World Order is not new at all. It is the resurrection of an old blueprint, the rebuilding of Atlantis, not as a city of crystal and stone, but a planetary system of control. If Atlantis was once a centralized hub governing Earth, then the modern world, with its global institutions, unified currencies, digital identities, and planetary infrastructure, begins to resemble its functional equivalent, a technological Atlantis, a new Atlantis. But timing is everything. Ancient civilizations tracked time not in decades or centuries, but in cosmic cycles. One of the most important is the Great Year, a cycle of approximately 26,000 years caused by the precession of Earth's axis. This cycle was known to the Egyptians, encoded in their temples. It appears in Hindu cosmology. It appears in Mayan calendars and zodiacal ages. It marks the slow drift of Earth through the 12 signs of the zodiac, each age lasting roughly 2,160 years. According to this system, humanity is currently at the end of the age of Pisces, an age associated with sacrifice, faith, martyrdom, and belief without proof. Pisces is the age of religion, of saviors, of submission to higher authority. Its symbol, the fish, appears in early Christianity, secret symbols, and ancient mystery schools. And like all ages before it, Pisces was never meant to last forever. As the Great Year turns, Earth transitions into the Age of Aquarius, an age associated with knowledge, technology, networks, electricity, and collective consciousness. Aquarius is not the age of kings or priests, but of systems, of information, of control through data rather than doctrine. Many ancient traditions described this transition as both a rebirth and a reckoning, a time when hidden things would be revealed, but also when old powers would attempt to reclaim dominance under a new form. This transition is what some now call the Great Reset. But resets are not new, they are cyclical. Civilizations rise, peak, collapse, and reset, often violently. Flood myths appear globally not because of coincidence, but because catastrophic resets are part of Earth's long history. Atlantis may have been the previous global civilization at the end of the last Great Year. Its fall marked the reset that allowed human history to begin as we know it. Now, 26,000 years later, the cycle closes again, and the question is not whether a reset will happen, but who controls it. If the old rulers never truly left, if they have been working through intermediaries, institutions, and bloodlines, then the modern era may not be moving towards liberation, but the restoration of a lost kingdom, Atlantis reborn, not rising from the ocean, but emerging through infrastructure, satellites, artificial intelligence, and global governance. In this framework, technology is not neutral, it is the scaffolding of resurrection. Ancient gods were once worshipped openly. Today, power hides behind logos, policies, and algorithms. Authority no longer descends from the sky, it flows through networks. Surveillance replaces omniscience. Databases replace divine judgment. Control becomes invisible, efficient, and total. Yet, every myth includes a flaw. According to ancient warnings, the return of the old order would not go uncontested. Humanity, unlike before, now carries fragments of memory. Myths, symbols, and intuition persist. The same knowledge once reserved for priest kings is now accessible to billions. This democratization of awareness may be the unexpected variable the old rulers did not anticipate. The Age of Aquarius is double-edged. It can enable total control, or total awakening. If creation was restoration, then awakening may be rebellion. Perhaps that's why ancient texts speak of a final conflict not between gods alone, but involving humanity itself. A choice, not of sides, but of consciousness. To remain a managed species in a resurrected Atlantis, or to break the cycle entirely and step beyond the control systems of gods and titans alike. Atlantis may rise again, but this time humanity will be watching and remembering.